The Galactic Council was the epitome of order in the galaxy, a beacon of law and reason among the stars. An alliance of over 200 sentient species, it had brought stability to countless worlds. But when they killed one human girl, they awoke something they didn't understand. Her name was Leah, a 10-year-old from Earth, and she was the adopted daughter of humanity's ambassador to the Galactic Council, Ambassador Jonas Harren. Leah had a curiosity that burned brighter than the stars themselves. She loved meeting alien species, exploring strange worlds, and asking questions no one had the answers to yet. One day, during a routine diplomatic event, Leah found herself wandering into a restricted zone on the planet Devris, the Council's capital. No one knows exactly what happened next. Some say she was caught in a security trap, while others whispered of darker motives. But the result was the same. Leah was dead. The news spread like wildfire through the human colonies. The Galactic Council called it an accident, a tragic mishap. They issued a formal apology, offered reparations, but in their cold, bureaucratic way, they moved on. But humanity didn't. We called them monsters. They called us over-emotional. We called them murderers. They called us primitive. We issued them a single word of warning. The last word they would ever hear from Earth. Pray. At first, the Galactic Council didn't understand. Some laughed. Others were puzzled. Pray? They were the Council, masters of the stars, lords of 1,000 worlds. What did they have to fear from humanity? But humans were a young species in the grand scheme of things, barely a century into their spacefaring journey. To the ancient species of the Council, humanity was a blip, a species to be humored, tolerated, maybe even protected, but not feared, until that word pray echoed across their networks. Weeks passed. The Council resumed its duties, dismissing the incident as a diplomatic wrinkle, soon to be ironed out. But then the disappearances began. First, it was a scout ship, a Relathian cruiser patrolling the edge of human space. It vanished without a trace. No wreckage, no distress signal. Then, an entire Turek mining colony, on the fringes of the Council's domain, went silent. When a rescue fleet arrived, they found nothing but empty buildings and a strange symbol carved into the ground, a human skull. Still, the Council didn't take the warning seriously. A few rogue humans, they thought, seeking vengeance for the girl's death. Annoying, but manageable. They were wrong. 3 months after Leah's death, the Galactic Council convened on Devris, trying to maintain an air of control. Representatives from every species gathered in the grand amphitheater, their voices buzzing with concern. The president of the council, an ancient, towering Yvanari named Vorlash, took the podium. "We will not be intimidated by human threats," Vorlash declared, his voice booming through the hall. "Their kind is impulsive, chaotic, but they do not understand the galaxy. We have ruled these stars for millennia, and no species, certainly not humanity, will disrupt that." But then the lights flickered. The air grew cold. At first, it was a low hum, a vibration that shook the walls of the grand chamber. Then, without warning, the main doors to the council's chamber burst open, and a figure stepped inside. Ambassador Jonas Harren. But this was not the polite, composed diplomat the council had once known. His eyes were dark, hollow, and his face was carved with an expression that made even the most hardened council members uneasy. Behind him, a contingent of human soldiers in sleek black armor marched in perfect unison. "I warned you," Jonas said, his voice low, but carrying across the room like a death knell. "I told you to pray." Vorlash straightened, his many limbs twitching in agitation. "This is an outrage. Humans have no right to barge into." But Jonas raised a hand, and Vorlash fell silent. "You killed my daughter," Jonas said, his voice breaking ever so slightly. "You tried to sweep it under the rug. You thought an apology would suffice." "We offered reparations," one of the council members shouted, a Krotak with bristling spines. Jonas turned to him, his gaze cold as the void. "You think credits can pay for a child's life?" Vorlash's voice trembled with barely contained anger. "What is it you want, human? War? Retaliation? The council will not be bullied by your kind." Jonas smiled, a bitter, chilling smile. "War? No, not war. War is inefficient. We wanted you to understand something. Something we humans have always known, but that your ancient minds have forgotten. And what is that? Vorlash sneered. Jonas stepped closer, his soldiers fanning out behind him, their armor gleaming in the dim light. That there are things in this universe older than your council. Darker, deadlier. You see, when humans say pray, it's not a threat. It's a warning that something is coming for you. Vorlash scoffed. You think you can scare us with superstitions? Jonas's eyes gleamed. Superstitions? No. The thing about humanity is that we didn't just rise to power because we were clever or strong. We learned to control forces you can't even comprehend. You see, when we prayed for justice, something hurt us. The temperature in the room dropped further. A shadow moved across the ceiling, long and serpentine, with glowing red eyes. You called it an accident, Jonas continued. But to us, it was murder. And when we humans are wronged, we don't send fleets or bombs. We send something far worse. A voice, ancient and whispering, filled the chamber. It wasn't coming from Jonas, nor from any of the humans present. It echoed from the darkness above. I am vengeance, it hissed. I am the shadow between the stars. The council members froze, eyes wide with terror. You didn't pray, Jonas said, stepping back. Now it's too late. The shadow descended, enveloping the council members, their screams cutting through the cold air like knives. One by one, the mighty leaders of the galaxy were swallowed by the void. Jonas turned, walking out of the chamber as the sounds of their final moments echoed behind him. When the Galactic Council was no more, the galaxy fell silent. Humanity did not claim the title of rulers. We did not expand our borders or demand tribute. We did something far worse. We left them to their fear, their shattered power, and the knowledge that something dark was always watching. And the last word we ever said to them before we vanished from their sight? Pray.